G'day guys, back at the winery today to rack and inoculate the Grenache Blanc for sparkling. It has been around 36 hours since we pressed it, put it in the smaller tanks and turned the chilling on. So the plan is now with this racking plate, suck the wine, the juice from the top of the tank all the way down until we start seeing the solids, and that's when we stop. Okay, so tank number 1 is done. That took around 5 minutes, so it was pretty quick. Show you the inside of it. This is what's left. Quickly clean the tank where it came from, so then I can return it. And then we can go on to build the yeast culture and inoculate it. Alright guys, I'll show you a feed of the yeast culture. And to do that, slowly we just add cold juice to it. We'll do probably these another 2 or 3 times. We'll probably go for a bigger bucket, and at some point you can probably add, 5 liters of juice at a time instead of 1 or 2, and that really gets it going and really drops the temperature, and then you can chuck it in. Once you chuck it in, that's the start of fermentation. What do you reckon? Time for another feed? Alright, it has been 45 minutes. We now have a very active yeast culture. It's time to inoculate the juice. The yeast is in, temperature is set. We're gonna turn on the chilling in an hour or so. We just let the yeast get used to the new environment and the new temperature, and then we just flick the switch on and the wine will be fermenting for the next couple of weeks. It's been 2 days since we inoculated the Grenache Blanc for sparkling, and it's finally going. As you can see, there's a bit of activity. It's fermenting nicely, but the Beaumais didn't really move much over the last couple of days. Today we'll check it again together so you can see how that's done, and hopefully we'll see a drop in the sugar content. Okay, so let's check the Beaumais. So what we're looking for here is the number, the first number that you can read above the surface of the juice, which seems to be around 10.2-ish. We'll check the temperature, so we'll have an actual Beaumais reading that is accurate after temperature adjustment. Okay, so final Beaumais is 10.1. It is fermenting between 10 and 13 degrees, so it's gonna take a while, at least a couple of weeks for it to go dry. But the start of the fermentation is always a little bit slower, and then as the yeast multiplies and if feeds on more and more sugar, it speeds up. Okay, so Beaumais keeps dropping. The juice is looking lighter and lighter in color, so the yeast is doing its job not just in fermenting but also in cleaning up the juice. Delicious. Not even half of a Beaumais drop from yesterday, but it's good. The ferment is going. The yeast seems to be happy. The reason why we ferment it cold, and therefore the ferment is going to take a long time, is because at cold temperature you retain a lot more aromatics. In general, white wines and rosé wines are fermented a little bit colder for that reason, whereas in red wine you might want to bring the temperature up. Since the skins are in there, you might want to extract as much as possible, and temperature helps with extraction, whereas in here there's nothing really to extract. There's actually a lot of stuff that we want to retain, and that's when cold temperature comes handy. Hey guys, it has been a week since we have picked the Grenache Blanc for sparkling. You know the drill. I've checked the Beaumais this morning. We are on 1/3 of the way through fermentation. and literally gonna repeat the same thing that you saw me doing before every day. It might look a bit repetitive and boring, and you might think there's not too much to winemaking, and there isn't, to be honest. If you keep it about the fruit and about the vineyard and about the place and about the vintage, there's not much you have to do. The fruit would speak in the glass in the end. The variables though are infinite. The yeast you use, the temperature you use, the shape of the fermenter or the tank, the size of the fermenter or the tank, the material of which the fermenter or the tank is made of, ambient temperature, ambient yeast, nutrients coming from the vineyards, nutrients found in the juice. So many variables. That's why you can't really do the same wine twice. If you do find a producer that in consecutive vintages can repeat the exact same style and the wine looks very consistent and very much alike year after year, well, then they probably have something to hide, to be honest. Anyway, the next interesting part is gonna be the re-inoculation for bottle fermentation, and that's what makes a sparkling. So we'll probably check in again to talk about this wine when that is happening. Until then, we're probably gonna show you more of the red ferments and everything else that we do during vintage. There is so much happening, guys. It is the most exciting time of the year, obviously, vintage. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. See ya.